Assignment in Baghdad. She'll be on her way home soon. And Savannah Guthrie, who's filling in for Ann, has made the long commute 100 yards down the block to Christie's auction house here in New York City. What is cooking there, Savannah?
Oh, it is really cooking. We are seeing Elizabeth Taylor's dazzling collection. This really celebrates her life and her legacy. We're going to see her jewels. We're going to see some of her Hollywood memorabilia, like some of these costumes behind me, some of the artwork she has. It's all going on the auction block. We'll tell you how you can get your hands on some of this if you have the means, and give you a little sneak preview too, Matt. All
right, Savannah, we look forward to that in a couple of minutes. What else?
My eye.
Discover why it's the brand eye doctors trust most for comfort. AccuView.
Amazing collection of Elizabeth Taylor's jewelry, Hollywood memorabilia, and fabulous clothes, all from a woman whose motto was, the more, the better. Elizabeth Taylor was the last of the great global Hollywood stars. She once said she couldn't remember a day when she wasn't famous. Her jewelry collection is legend. Her career spanned 50 motion pictures over 7 decades, winning her 2 Oscars. She landed her first big role in National Velvet back in 1944 when she was just 12. She was glamorous and tough, but also vulnerable. She married and divorced 8 times, endured illness and substance abuse. Taylor challenged convention and those who wanted to sweep AIDS under the carpet. Elizabeth Taylor lived life at full tilt. Well, hundreds of Elizabeth Taylor's items will be here at Christie's, and anybody in the public can see them starting on Saturday. Mark Potter is the CEO and chairman of Christie's Americas. Mark, good morning, and thank you for this exclusive first look.
Thanks for coming.
Well, we are starting with a doozy, this beautiful yellow wedding dress. Tell us about it.
This is the wedding dress for the first wedding of Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, designed by Irene Sharaff, who was the designer for the sets in Cleopatra. Yellow was her favorite color, and it was the color that she was wearing when she fell in love with Burton in Rome during the filming of Cleopatra. And that's what causes this dress.
Now, we see in photos during the wedding these emerald and diamond jewels, and these are here too. Tell us about those.
They are. They're just right there. During that same period when they were in such passionate love, they visited Bulgari, the jeweler in Rome, and little by little, they assembled this fantastic suite. And Elizabeth Taylor, being Elizabeth Taylor, she could wear one piece at one time or all of it at once.
Well, let's walk over, because I know we have so many more beautiful fashions to see, and as we go and we're about to see another wedding dress, reminder, anybody can come. You just pay a ticket price and you can come look at this stuff?
Yeah, it's open to the public, and in addition, there's an online sale with another 1,000 lots, which is sold only online.
Okay, great. Let's talk about this dress right here.
Well, this is the wedding dress from Elizabeth Taylor's second marriage to Richard Burton. And Richard Burton would say about Elizabeth Taylor that she blossomed when it was warm. And for their marriage in Botswana, they had this extraordinary, colorful, hippie-like dress made with all of the colors of the African sunset.
Well, she obviously loved color, and let's move over to this pink evening gown. It's kind of an overcoat to this cream dress. It is gorgeous.
A cornerstone of Elizabeth Taylor's wardrobe was Christian Dior. The most formal, the most elegant, the most perfectly made clothing of several decades. And that dress in particular is very important because she wore that dress when she went to the theater with Robert Kennedy and Ethel Kennedy only 3 months before his assassination.
Wow. There's so much history in this room. I want to walk over and get to something that I think must be kind of the piece de resistance of this whole collection. It's called the Elizabeth Taylor Diamond, and all I got to say is wow.
It is wow. It's one of the greatest diamonds that the world knows. It's 33 carats with no color, D-color, which means that it has no color other than the light that comes from the rainbow and is reflected. And the cuts of the stone are so deep that Elizabeth Taylor referred to them as steps into eternity.
One can only imagine what kind of price a diamond like this would fetch anyway, but the fact that it was Elizabeth Taylor's must make the value go into the stratosphere.
Well, the diamond is estimated at $2.5 to $3.5 million. Wow. And because of the fame, it should bring somewhat more.
Okay, well, let's take a walk over, and as we do, I want to show another room, which is so cool. There's so much memorabilia, there's so much fashion. You actually have set up here at Christie's her dressing room, a replica of her dressing room. Tell us about it.
We have. One of the extraordinary things about Elizabeth Taylor's collecting is that very, very few people knew that she was such an important patron of designers. So we have created this museum of her collection, and in addition an online sale of 1,000 lots, with designers from Pucci to Dior to Galliano, Balenciaga, Vuitton, incredible Versace, including these Versace jackets of faces of Elizabeth, both as Elizabeth I, the Queen, and Elizabeth in all of her guises in the movies.
In some ways, this auction house right now is a museum of fashion history.
Yeah, it is the greatest collection of fashion that's ever been shown on the market.
Well, everybody thinks of Elizabeth Taylor. They think of the jewels, they think of the fashions, but she has great memorabilia, and we're standing in a room that has some of this. Tell us about the Warhol Prints, where she got these, and why they're so valuable.
Well, this Warhol, which is actually the portrait of Elizabeth Taylor, was a gift from Andy Warhol to Elizabeth Taylor, and is inscribed to Elizabeth with much love, Andy Warhol. And there's also a thank you note from Elizabeth Taylor back to Andy Warhol, noting that she was famous because of him. He kept this print for probably 20 or 30 years before dedicating it to her.
And you said this is a publicity photo, basically, that he used.
He used this as a publicity photo for his original shows of Elizabeth Taylor portraits,
okay.
And their friendship came later.
All right, we've got a couple of scripts from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, National Velvet. I see an Oscar here. And this director's chair, tell us about that very quickly.
Well, Elizabeth Taylor had a number of director's chairs. We haven't been able to identify which one went with which movie, but this one we know is quite late because on the back it says Dame. So it was after she was made a Dame of the British Empire.
All right, thank you so much. Mark Porter from Christie's. There's so much to see. People can come and down and see it, and if they got a lot of cash, they can bid on it too. Really appreciate the sneak peek.
Pleasure.
All right, and coming up next, Richard Branson.